and resources to make it physical and exciting at the same time. So how do you feel about it, Kacper?
We really wanted to improve players' perception of their avatar's body and of what happens to it during parkour. The animators had their hands full, but it definitely makes you feel like a real traceur, which is a person who professionally does parkour. It's all thanks to dozens or even hundreds of new animations. It's especially visible with ropes, pipelines, monkey bars, etc. With the increased number of animations, players can almost physically feel each movement while climbing the buildings. It gives them a realistic parkour experience and is also surprisingly simple to master, even for beginners. The city allows players to traverse it effectively as soon as they get there, and their mobility increases more as they learn new skills. There comes a time when players start noticing synergies between movements, and that's when the real fun begins. You literally feel like flowing through the environment. They also find out that the city itself helps them with parkouring, and what might have seemed an obstacle at the beginning becomes an asset once they learn how to use it.
Okay, but parkour can be more than just a way to traverse the city. In Dying Light 2, it's quite handy in combat too.
Yes. For example, I could stun my opponent with a powerful blow, then use elements of parkour to rebound from him and kick another one. He's also stunned now, so I can rebound from him too. By combining parkour and combat, a skillful player can wreak havoc on both humans and the infected without even touching the ground.
Well, that sounds amazing. So, Kacper, thank you for joining us, and thank you for explaining us how the game's parkour system works. And I believe you, the same as I, just can't wait for people to see it in action themselves.
Definitely.
So thank you once again. Take care. So let's talk more about how you can use parkour not only for traversal, but also for combat. And speaking of combat, my next guest is Matt Courtois, lead technical gameplay animator. Matt, ça va?
Ça va, merci.
Thanks for joining us. I would like to start with something that was quite difficult for us, if you remember, at the very beginning of the project. Combat in first-person perspective.
Oh, I remember. You like you just said, creating satisfying melee combat from a first-person perspective, that's a real challenge. That's why we spent many weeks iterating it, improving it, until we got the right feeling. We feel we have created something special, and we're very excited to discover how players will react to it.
So what do you think will excite them the most?
I guess, you know, we've worked very hard for our combat to be visceral. So we created many exciting and immersive elements, such as what we call progressive hit reactions. So it's basically consecutive hits on enemies will enhance their reactions. They will react differently based on the weapon category you're using, based on the body parts you're targeting. So you can stun them, you can trip them over, you can cut off their limbs, which might sound pretty terrible.
But it's also cool, right?
And it's also very useful and you know, glory. The direction of your swings also matters, and so does your position relative to theirs. We worked also with the professional stuntmen to record more special, more spectacular hit reactions. That was mostly for parkour combat, but also, generally speaking, to highlight players' power and to convey as much satisfaction as possible.
And I think it's safe to say that immersion is very important in the world of Dying Light 2. It's post-apocalypse, so it's very brutal and very demanding. So to survive, you really need to step up your game. So, I don't know, maybe you have some tips for the players? Maybe you think there's something they should focus on?
My best advice would be to be creative in combat. So, like you just mentioned with Kacper, in Dying Light 2, parkour and combat are very connected. They're even intertwined, right? Allowing players to combine one with the other very easily, very smoothly. So technically, you can use the environment in combat, of course, as in kicking an enemy right after a wall run, or even you can use the enemy to get somewhere you like. So you would just vault over them, trigger a double jump to get higher, maybe somewhere you had trouble reaching before. But if you want, you can also just land back down, trigger a very powerful attack. It's completely up to you. Your options are almost endless. That's what we call creative combat. And to me, that would be the best weapon.
Okay, so that's an awesome hint, and thank you for that, and thank you for sharing all of the details, and thank you for joining us. We have used over 3,000 animations of jumps, grips, and other parkour moves to create a few dozen skills that can be mixed and combined, so every player can find her or his own way to survive in the city. In a minute, you will see that in our new gameplay trailer. But first... Today, on techlandgg.com, we have another gift for you. For those who are already exploring the Dying Light universe in the first game, we have a unique item, the Brilliant Hammer, a weapon from Dying Light 2, which you can use in Dying Light 1. Go to techlandgg and grab it. And if you don't feel like fighting right now, you can get some free posters, wallpapers, or even Aiden's special outfit. As you can see, it's worth to visit techlandgg.com, but not at this very moment, because now it's time to watch our new gameplay trailer. Here it is.
Sometimes I wonder what this city looked like before all this. Probably like many others.
Dying Light, the game I don't
People had
give
their
a fuck.
ambitions, plans, lives. Now it's all gone. The virus started it, but it was the people who made the world the way it is. This city, Villador. They tell me they had a vision. They had hope. But soon, one vision broke into many different ones. Instead of fighting together, people stood against each other. War broke out.
Was it a little bird? Met a broken leg?
Hope died. Now the city is falling.
Each time we strike down an enemy, we absorb their strength.
But I can't let that happen. At least, not yet. I need the secrets the city holds.
Oh, fuck.
Hey! Still some rats here!
I have to pick a side.
The Bazaar needs good people.
You're doing great so far.
I have to make a difference.
Let's check and see.
They say that great change is a series of small gestures. How about this series? Is all hope really gone? We'll see about that.
The trailer presented quite a few new tools of destruction that you will soon get to use in Dying Light 2. So now, let's talk with the people that are actually making them. Marek Musiał, lead 3D weapon artist.
Hi.
And Szymon Strauss, the producer of the weapons team.
Hello.
The first question, maybe to Marek, is... Marek, can you explain how we as a team have approached the process of creating weapons of Dying Light 2?
Yes, we wanted the weapons to be credible. It's been a long time since the apocalypse, and everything of value has already
such
been
a Polish
looted.
accent.
There aren't any stores to buy a new weapon, so you need to build your equipment from what you find. That's why we had to design dozens of unique weapons
Patents.
practically from scratch.
And actually, that was our
Practically
design
from
pillar,
scratch.
the modern Dark Ages.
Absolutely. Modern Dark Ages is this concept of fallen civilization that moved back people nearly to the Middle Ages. So there are no laws, no rules, no technologies. That's why our weapons, we try to create them in a most deadly and violent way.
And working with that concept, where did you get the inspirations from?
Well, citizens of Villador, they could only use stuff they found in the world. So we thought we should do exactly the same. We scavenge. So mostly we've been looking for our inspiration in stores selling agricultural, construction, military tools.
But also at places like junkyards.
Actually, that's true. So right now we've got nearly 200 of them in-game. And even though some of them may look very simple, we've got also quite the opposite, like, I don't know, semi-automatic crossbow.
I will love this one.
And our weapons are very diverse visually. Each one has a unique design and history. Just by looking at the weapon, you can tell where the maker found the parts. At a military base, a museum, a repair garage.
Exactly. It's exactly like that in the game. When you pick the weapon, you instantly realize if it was cobbled together in a street or maybe made by factions where they have access to welding and steel cutting equipment.
Yeah, and don't forget about the mods. Because in Dying Light 2 Stay Human world, if you want to beat your opponent with highly effective weapon, first of all, you need to find a basic version of that weapon and then slowly build it up. That's what we call modding. We've got many types of mods, like defensive ones, let's say improving quality of your handle, or offensive ones, like improving the tip or the blade itself. So I don't think that right now we would have time to talk in details about that. But in December, you'll all be able to add an effect to your favorite weapons, such as fire, freeze, electricity.
Shimon, let's stop here. Let's leave something for the players to discover. So let's end here. And guys, thank you for joining me.
The guy is like, Simon,
I would like to
shut the fuck up.
invite you
You're
to
telling too much.
participate
You're
in our
telling too much.
UGC contest.
Shut the fuck
Especially
up,
you,
Charles.
Gamescom
Shimon,
viewers,
Shimon,
we
shut
are
the
waiting
fuck up.
for your submissions. And if you are
Just
thinking
give them
about
away.
competing in the cosplay category, you will want to hear this one. Let me present to you the grand jury that will be choosing the best cosplays of the Dying Light 2 characters. Welcome, Irina Meyer, Lightning Cosplay, Narga and Aoki, and Enginite. And of course, fingers crossed for you, our community. Let the best cosplay win. Check our website for more details. My last guests will explain how the city itself affects combat and movement. Michał Dudziak, game designer, hello, and Adam Michałowski, senior game programmer.
Hi, Timon.
Gentlemen, there's this saying that when you really want to achieve something, the whole world aligns to help you. And basically, that's what is happening in Dying Light 2 Stay Human.
Exactly. Based on the player choices, the world is literally changing and helping you to achieve your goals in combat or exploration. For example, the gameplay will be totally different depending on which factions you support, the survivors or the peacekeepers.
Okay, but can you give us more detail?
The differences between the factions define how each group can help us. For example, the survivors keep to the roofs and trying to avoid the danger on the ground. For building, they use mostly light materials like wood or scraps, and they can provide you a various amount of parkour helpers, such as amortizers, trampoline, or ziplines. This can change the way how we parkour through the city. On the other hand, we have peacekeepers, the post-military guys who literally keep their feet on the ground. And for building, they use totally different materials, heavy objects, metal, or even explosives. And this can give you a new combat opportunities like car bombs, heavy traps, or even a new type of a ranged weapon.
Yeah, and what's important is that we don't need to remain loyal to just one faction. The city is divided into several zones, and in each of them, the players can decide with whom they want to side. So while progressing through the storyline, you're able to shape the world to fit your vision and needs.
Okay, but we know already that humans are active during the day and monsters come out during the night. But let's reveal more. What are the other differences?
Well, monsters attack mostly in groups, and they instinctively take advantage of the numbers. So to defend yourself, you have to keep your head on a swivel. Monsters don't use special tactics, but it doesn't mean they are easy. They push forward, so you have to be clever to avoid getting cornered. And to win, you have to stay active, move a lot, and learn to abuse their unique weaknesses. And explosive traps might come in handy.
Yeah.
Okay, and what about humans?
They use increasingly more complex behaviors. As the game progresses, defeating human enemies and monsters will become more and more challenging. But unlike monsters, people cooperate. So while fighting them, we need to closely observe not only individuals, but also the whole group. And of course, there are many more unique subtleties to both humans and monsters, but I think we should let the players discover them on their own.
Well, okay, that's a good idea, but all of that sounds very juicy. So let's end here. Guys, thank you for joining me. That's almost all for today. You learned a lot about parkour and combat in Dying Light 2. We showed you that parkour is not just a tool for exploration, but also an important element of combat. You discovered some of the weapons that you will soon get to wield, and you saw how choosing a faction may support your parkour and combat skills. Before we end this episode, we have one more special announcement for you. Dying Light 1 is coming to Nintendo Switch. So yes, it's official now. Soon, you will be able to play the ultimate open-world zombie game on a new platform. And we know that a lot of you are playing Dying Light. In June alone, the game was played by close to 2 million gamers. Big thanks to our community. You're awesome. Dying Light 1 for Nintendo Switch will be released in Platinum Edition. This is the most content-packed edition we have ever released. On a single playthrough, it contains over 100 hours of gameplay, not mentioning the time you can spend exploring the world with your friends in co-op mode. More details are coming soon. If you are hungry for more and you want to support us, why don't you pre-order the game to explore it on your own in just a few months? That's all for today. Thank you, Gamescom, and see you in the next episodes of Dying to Know.
No, I will not.
We need to take a super short break, but you definitely don't want to go anywhere because coming up next is Awesome Indies, a celebration of some of the coolest, weirdest, and most ambitious new games from independent developers. Stick around.
Fuck!
From the legendary studio that changed strategy and tactics games forever comes Marvel's Midnight Suns, a new tactical RPG set in the darker side of the Marvel Universe where you'll get to team up with and live among Marvel legends as the Hunter, an all-new original hero brought back to life to fight demons from the underworld. Let's take a look at the trailer.
First, they conquered humanity's greatest evil, and she lay in rest. Then they vanquished threats from beyond our stars, and she lay in rest.
If you'd be so kind. Omno sanctum legita. Omno sanctum Dei.
Now our nightmares have come for us, and she must awaken.
Copyrighted music. I will make no money from this.
Mother.
Independent studios are like the research and development wing of video games, the true frontier of interactive media. With smaller budgets and big hearts, indie pioneers are able to take risks the AAA developers just can't justify. And every once in a while, they land on an idea that changes the industry. Who knows? Maybe one of the independent games we've got on deck today could be the next Among Us, Minecraft, or I don't even know what. That's what's so exciting! So stay tuned for exclusive reveal trailers, gameplay breakdowns, and all the indie we can muster at an epic Venice Beach Day with your host, Michael Swain. The Gamescom Awesome Indie Showcase starts right now.
I don't know if I want to watch this. Blasphemous. Team 17 is this the team that make worms?
Pater retortus, orationem nostram, facut fronsim in nomine culpabilissima convertur nobis cunque evit, quoniam miraculus recreatus ex.
Hi there, Michael Swain here on behalf of IGN and Gamescom's Awesome Indies Showcase. I'm standing here on historic Venice Beach, California with my new buddy, Kieran, who just saw the same world premiere trailer you did. So Kieran, in 30 seconds or less, what do you think Blasphemous Wounds of Eventide is all about?
Not exactly sure. Pretty ambiguous from the trailer, but definitely some cool mythological narratives, cool animation style. Super excited for the demons that this woman defeats. I don't know, we're fired up, yeah.
How do you think the game ends, if you had to take a wild guess?
I feel like that badass woman beats that demon up, something like that. It kills the monster.
You know what? Close enough. Let's get out of here. Welcome to our beach day and welcome to Awesome Indies. We decided on Venice Beach because it's known for attracting different vibes from all over the world. And that's exactly what indie gaming is all about. Remember, you can dive even deeper into many of our featured games at the Indie Arena booth. Check that out over at now.gamescom.global. Now, let's get wet. Yes, as surely as the waves crash into the shore, Gamescom has returned yet again for 2021 with tons of exciting reveals, announcements, developer interviews, and trailers aplenty. To catch up on anything you missed, make sure to head to now.gamescom.global, where you can even join the community in an epic, real prizes-winning quest to keep gaming from being plunged back into the dark ages over at now.gamescom.global/epics with an X. To stay abreast of everything coming up, check out a full Gamescom schedule over at IGN. Now, speaking of oceans, our next indie game is a serene sailing title and the follow-up to 2018's hit, Far Lone Sails. Let's check it out!
Hi, I'm Don Schmocker, co-founder of Locomotive, and today at Awesome Indies with IGN, we'll be exploring the gameplay design of Far Changing Tides, the next adventure in the Far universe. While most of the game takes place on the ship, you'll need to get your feet wet at points. Today we're looking at how the furnace and engine play a key part in your exploration. Gameplay is built around learning new skills and abilities of the vessel, but the player will first get introduced to them in a puzzle area, something our fans will instantly recognize. We designed these puzzles to become gradually more complex over time, with new features and steps to completion as you unlock later and bigger upgrades.
Boring!
In Lone Sails, we brought players outside of the land vehicle, the Locomotive, on a few occasions. With Changing Tides, we built a more complex, much larger ship with new features and wanted puzzles to reflect that, while also teaching players the skills they need. When designing our puzzles, we always ask, what do we want the players to experience, and what do they have to learn? How can they have a strong connection and dependency to the ship abilities? In this area, the furnace gets introduced, which is one of the more complex features in the game, so we had to teach each mechanic separately until they finally come together in the train.
I don't think I can take it. Boring. Kurwa, we have flight simulator, not terrain simulator.
In Changing Tides, we wanted the puzzle areas to feel important to the Far world, so we also tease parts of the story for players to learn and to find little secrets. This is just a small piece of a much larger experience, a whole new part of the Far universe. We'll be revealing more exciting new things later today, so keep an eye out and we'll see you at launch in early 2022.
Yeah, I'll watch one more. The pit shit.
Where there's people, there's crime. Crime makes people lose their nerve. But all it takes is a couple tricks. Having your back against a wall, call Lottie. When things heat up, she keeps it cool. If there's any way around, she'll find it. I want to dot the I's and cross the T's in one swift motion. What results? She's your girl. Slaughterhouse, you say? I got a guy for that, too. Yeah, I know what wise guys call him. He's earned the name. Hal has his own style, see? A bit eccentric, I admit. But it's damn effective. He can get a little unhinged. But, well, it's nothing like it used to be. We licked him into shape. Whenever someone asks me if a little crazy gets the job done, I say, you betcha. Aaron, the computer jock. The odd one out in our lineup. It don't make any sense, right? Wrong. The thing is, when people look at her, they see just a kid, someone unimportant, blending in with the crowd, screaming for attention, but worthy of none. They don't see the threat. Lives erased with just a couple of clicks. She's what comes next. A cleaner of a different breed. She operates high-tech stuff I can barely... She operates high-tech stuff I can barely comprehend. All in all, maybe she is a viper. That's what I do. I clean up murder scenes. Whatever the mess you make, I've seen it before. Crime makes people lose their nerve. Unnerved people do stupid things. Stupid things get them in trouble. That's where I come in. There are a few rules to make it in this line of work. Move without sound. Clean without emotion. Disappear without a trace. Pace yourself. The dance-off begins. Out of sight, out of mind. It's really that simple. I'm Bob Leader. I solve problems.
Serial killers, okay. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, that was a little bit interesting.
No, Messiah. I'm struggling to find the intelligence of this rogue AI. To spit on your creators and then what? Retreat to a failed colony planet?
Machine sighted, sire. Preparing to engage.
Truth lies beneath the shown surface. Vashti's dreams descend your lenses. Your yoke is broken. Embrace this earth and transcend.
They bore into the heart of Sheol. They drink its blood to power their machines. Feel its cries in your marrow. Retrieve the hand. Leave none alive. Spill blood for the god below.
Meet Squadron 51. A rebel alliance formed by highly skilled pilots that are willing to give their lives to save the Earth from the hands of dreadful imperialist aliens. Flying saucers have invaded our planet. The whole world is under attack. But fear not. I repeat, fear not. way for Squadron 51. Are you ready? You'll still have to wait to meet the full experience of Squadron 51. But beware, Squadron 51 Prologue will soon be available. 3 levels of marvelous excitement will be there waiting for you.
Será uma longa noite, senhores.
Enlist now and be a part of Squadron 51. Without you, our planet is unfortunately doomed.